And what do you know, that piece came off when I was trying to put the top frame back on. This is all it's held on by, this little peg, and the spring needs to sit against that, and then this front bit comes back and just gets pushed against the peg, and that's what just allows it to keep pressure on it and reciprocate back. But yes, that is the issue we have. Came off whilst putting that on, and now it's going to be a bastard to put it back on. As you can see, the welding wire there, it's slightly thicker, although it doesn't have as much resistance to it, obviously being welding wire, but yeah, it's not ideal. Right, so once you've got your frame on, you'll see this little piece here. First you need this piece, this little locking lug type thing. That just goes in first. You pull the spring back. I'll probably do it with a screwdriver. Pop that in, or if you want, honestly, it doesn't really matter. Just put these two in together. I don't think that spacer necessarily needs to be there, but obviously better be safe than sure. I mean, they gave you the damn thing, why not? But yep. So those two in. Pull the spring back. Those two in, and that should be a lot for the thing. Once that's done, push this in, screw it in, tighten it with a Allen key, and that should be your entire upper assembly ready to be put back together. Right, so there's the upper assembly, the lower frame. This tiny little screw that requires an extremely small Allen wrench. It's, for comparison, I think that is slightly smaller than the Allen key used to undo the bottom plate for the magazine, and that is the size of the one that does the screw in the bottom. This little screw is the only thing that holds this entire outer barrel on. It attaches about there. So that's why the outer barrel wiggles. This wiggles because the frame is in two halves and isn't actually kept captive. KWC themselves probably thought that this would keep it relatively tight, but it doesn't. And apparently people have been saying that there's a plastic thing here that helps keep this tight. Well, not tight, but it should do. And it was intended as a floating barrel, but obviously mine does not seem to have that. It's just hollow all the way through. So mine wiggles a hell of a lot. But yeah, so do not lose that, otherwise you're bollocks. And there we are. I've done this up quite tight so the outer barrel doesn't actually wobble as much as it did. I suspect that from the factory that comes extremely loose. Tighten that up as soon as you can. In fact, a lot of these parts were quite loose, but especially the outer barrel. So tighten it up as soon as you can. Seriously, it's quite bad. And then try not to over tighten it. I think the threads on this are they're rather sharp. It might actually over thread, so just be careful. And then yeah, so unfortunately I had to paint mine because it was coming from China. I was hoping that would allow it to come from customs. It didn't. I had to give my UCARA number and all that bollocks anyway. But yeah, so those are your two halves. And I'll just try and assemble that now. Yeah, so closes there. There's your full thing. All lovely and put together. And with a stock, it looks absolutely fabulous. If you'll mind the phrasing. The stock actually came from, I believe, not HFC. It's not Umarex. It may very well be HFC or someone like that. Another Mauser brand, but it was non-blowback, and it. I don't think it had a fire selector. Like, it was just solid metal. It wasn't an actual fire selector like this one, which is what made me choose the KWC version. But yeah, there are a couple. If you do want a stock, and it's a lovely stock. It looks plastic, but it's in fact hardwood. I had to make a few modifications, gouging that out. There was a small pieces there that kept catching, but it fits lovely now. Even on the back of the gun. Actually, that's the point. If you do want the stock, the frame is there, but we had to drill this out just for the catch to sit in. It's not difficult. The metal that they've made this out of is extremely good metal. It almost buggered up one of the drill bits we were using, but I managed to get that done. And now it fits and looks lovely. Completes the gun completely. So, but yeah, so that was a complete disassembly of the KWC M712 Schnellfeuer with stock. I hope this helped you in some way.